Hello guys. This is Wanda coming in. Today is Tuesday, April the 25th, and I just decided to do a video today on my IVF process in a nutshell because I just got my last claim from my insurance company, and although you can go through my videos and see my process from beginning to end, I thought it might be helpful for some new people to just see the whole thing all together. If you hear a bunch of noise in the background, it's because my children are here with a lot of company, so I'm going to try to do it as best I can and as fast as I can. So my journey started with IVF on Tuesday, January the 3rd. That was my first doctor's appointment when I met Dr. Katz at the Shady Grove Fertility Center. And my last appointment when I was released was on Monday, April the 9th. So what happened in all that time? Well, when I went in on Tuesday the 3rd, it was just basically a consultation with Dr. Katz. He went through the entire process with me as well as the cost. And then I saw his head nurse who would be assigned to me. She went through the entire process with us and the cost. And then I saw their financial, the finance person who went through the entire process plus the cost. So we were there for more than a few hours, and the process was gone over with like 3 times, so they were definitely thorough. One thing that I would tell you as a piece of advice is when we initially went to the office, they told us that our insurance would not cover it because I had my tubes voluntarily tied, but I asked them to submit the paperwork anyway. And I guess because of my history of endometriosis and my husband's low sperm count, the insurance actually wound up paying for it. And I thought it was funny because they estimated us, if we were a cash patient, it was going to be $9,500 for the procedure plus about $3,000 for the medications. Well, I went through and I added up all of our bills. I've kept every single bill from January 3rd to April the 9th, and the total cost charged to the insurance company was $11,753.94. So that's pretty daggone close to what they said it would be. So, getting back into the process. So what I had to do when I left there, my instructions were to start birth control pills when I started my period. So the first day of my period is when I started the birth control, which was on January the 10th. That was the first day of my period. And then I had to go in 48 hours after that to do a ultrasound and blood work. And what they did was they counted the follicles on each side. At that time I had 17 on my left and 7 follicles on my right. And then on Sunday, January the 15th, I started my birth control pills. And that night, I also had to take a Zithromac, which is an antibiotic, because on Monday the 16th, I had to go to GBMC to have an HSG. Now, that hurt, but it only hurts for like a minute. It feels like really, really bad period cramps if you haven't had children, or like a quick but painful contraction if you have had children. All right. I had to take pain pills that day. My husband's first sperm analysis was the next day, which was January 17th. And then on Wednesday the 18th, we had what was called a mock embryo transfer, which was basically, I guess, what you call a dry run. And then on the 23rd of January, we went in for what you call our IVF talk. And that's where they basically go through all the information with you again. And they tell you whether or not your insurance is going to pay, what part they're going to pay. And they make the dates for your real procedure. Alright, so that was pretty much that. So, the first day in the month of February, the first day of my menstrual cycle was on the 4th. It was Saturday the 4th of February. It was the first day of my menstrual cycle. I had to go in on February 10th for blood work and an ultrasound. And then I had to start the needles. Now, as far as the medication is concerned, the medications that I took, I had to take Follistim, which was pretty much for about a week. I had to take that every night in my belly for a week, along with the Menopur. So we started those on the 13th. That's Monday, February the 13th. And we took them for about a week. And then on Sunday the 19th, they added to that the Ganirelix. There was 5 pre-filled syringes of that. Now what that does is that keeps you from ovulating. The first 2 medicines basically stimulated me, and then that one kept me from ovulating. So then on the 23rd at night, February the 23rd, we did our trigger shot. And that was after going into the doctor's office on the 23rd. And they had about 16 eggs that had that had grown to over 18 millimeters. They had to be at least 18 in order to do the retrieval. So on the 23rd of February, we did the trigger shot. On the 24th, we went in to make sure that the trigger shot took. And then on Saturday, the 25th of February, at 9 a.m. was our egg retrieval. The day of our egg retrieval, there were 14 eggs retrieved. On Sunday, the 26th, we got our first telephone call telling us that 8 of the eggs fertilized normally. And by the time we got to Thursday, February the 1st, by the time we got to Thursday, March the 1st, we had 2 embryos that were in good condition, and we had 2 embryos that were in fair condition, and we had 4 embryos that fertilized abnormally, which means that they never got to the blastocyst stage. So we transferred 2 embryos on Thursday, March the 1st. Now after that, we went into our 2-week wait, and we waited until Monday, March the 12th, which is when I went in for my first beta. And then I went in for a second beta on the 14th. So that was 2 days later, and the numbers more than doubled. And then after that, we went in on Tuesday, March the 20th for ultrasound. And that's when they saw our 2 little bundles of joy. And then finally on April the 9th is when we went for our final appointment, and we were released. Now, starting on the day of retrieval, we did have to do vaginal inserts of endometrium, which was twice a day, and E-trace, which is estrogen, that was 1 pill I had to take once a day. I am completely finished all of my meds. I finished all of my meds on the 21st, which was this past weekend. because we were 10 weeks pregnant, we had to take the E-trace, which is the estrogen, and the endometrium, which is vaginally. We had to do all of that until we were 10 weeks pregnant. And now I'm going to be going to see my regular OB on next Monday.